Hi, welcome to the Balanced Body Podcast. My name is Stacy Sims, and I'm the owner of Pendleton Pilates in Cincinnati, Ohio, where I'm an educator and an instructor. And this is Heather Summer. She's also an educator with me and an instructor at Pendleton Pilates. Today we're going to talk about C-curve. Often I'll hear in the community that people say, well, I can't do Pilates because it hurts my neck. So I have to assume they mean when moving into a C-curve. So I'm sure if you guys have done any Pilates, you know what the C-curve is. But what we want to do is we want to slow everything down a second and really look at the position of the neck in the C-curve so that we keep the tension out of the neck. For starters, the concept really is that in a C-curve, what you're really doing is flexing in the thoracic spine, not in the cervical spine, not in the neck. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work with Heather, and we'll be able to study her alignment more closely so we can help you keep the tension out of your neck in C-curve. Ready, Heather?
Yes.
So we're going to scoot you forward. Terrific. And go ahead and let's have you go ahead and roll down and get into position. So first of all, what I want to think about for a second with Heather is that even though we're going to be working on the neck, the spine is connected so that anything you do with your neck really also affects the pelvis, and or the pelvis affects the neck. So before we look specifically at the neck, we're going to look at the position of Heather's pelvis. So essentially what we want to make sure that happens is that when Heather comes up into her C-curve, and I'm just going to have you elevate your head for a second, the tendency is for the pelvis to change position. And so oftentimes we think of this as an imprinted spine. If the spine is imprinted, what tends to happen is that the body wants to come up higher and the neck gets into a difficult position. So what we're going to work on, and we'd like to help you work on at home, is to keep your tailbone pressing down, keep the pelvis organized in this position with the abdominals pulling in. Alrighty, so you can go ahead and lie back down. Now let's think about the position of the neck. First of all, the head weighs anywhere from, depending on your size, about 10 to 13 pounds. So that is a lot of weight to carry forward in different positions. Oftentimes what happens is that the body is really tense. We spend a lot of time at our computer, a lot of time with our ears almost up, our ears and shoulders really tight, and all those muscles are constricted. So go ahead, and what we're going to have Heather do is basically demonstrate what happens when the neck is too tense. So go ahead and kind of crunch everything up there for a second. Good. And then if she inhales and she exhales and she comes up, do you see how there's all this tension already in the neck? That's what we want to avoid. If you come up into C-curve and you're already tense in your neck, it's going to be very difficult, no matter, what your instructor is helping you do, to alleviate the tension in the neck. So we want to start it out properly. We're going to take you back down. I'm going to go ahead and put this towel underneath Heather, and we're going to help her get into better position with her neck. There you go. So you can just use any towel that you have at home. You want to position it so that if you reach back, you can easily grab onto the towel. You're going to put the tailbone down, stabilize the pelvis. Heather's going to take an inhale and an exhale. She's going to keep her head heavy, and she's just going to lift up. So do you see how the towel is cradling her neck? If you can see, there really isn't, I'm going to give you a little opening here, there really shouldn't be any tension in the neck. And really what's happening is the rib cage is gathering together, and the deep abdominals right here at the upper part of the abdomen are working really hard. And if she lets the towel go, basically she should be able to move her head and neck around, so there should be no tension in the neck. The gaze is probably going to be at the knees or even a little lower. If she gazes to the ceiling, it's the 10 to 13 pound head is now giving way too much tension on the neck. So if she lowers her gaze, moves her head around, lifts the crown of the head to the ceiling, she's going to be in good shape. And then she's going to take an inhale, and she's going to exhale, and she's going to bring herself back down, Lower the hands. And she's just executed a C curve without tension in the neck. Thanks for joining us, and we'll hope to see you next time.